Good morning. It's the midweek edition of Business Morning. I'm Chimeze Obiwa. Well, thank you for joining us. Well, we'll kick off from the global oil market as prices fell for the second straight day in early trade today as doubts re-emerged over demand, with COVID-19 cases continuing to rise worldwide and gasoline shortages in some regions. Brent crude was down $1.03 at $78.06 a barrel, having fallen nearly $2 on Tuesday after touching $80.75, its highest in nearly 3 years. U.S. oil fell $1.02 to $74.27 a barrel, having dropped 2%. Oil prices have been charging higher as economies recover from pandemic lockdowns and fuel demand picks up, while some producing countries have seen supply disruptions. Traders expect Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries and Allies, known as OPEC Plus, will decide to keep supplies tight when they meet next week. Okay, this week can be said to be a week of celebrating tourism because we've been talking a lot about tourism this week. September 27th, that was a Monday, was marked as World Tourism Day with a theme, Tourism for Inclusive Growth. Now, Nigeria, of course, joined the rest of the tourism world to celebrate the United Nations World Tourism Day, and stakeholders say the new normal has revealed the need for a strategic action plan, which must bring tourism stakeholders together and create projects that will benefit all. Channels Television, of course, took a look at some of the tourist attractions Nigeria can offer. Let's watch this.
Power of tourism for inclusive growth.
September 27th every year is recognized and designated World Tourism Day. But what's the big deal about tourism? A quick check at tables of leading countries for tourism arrival, international tourism receipts, or by international expenditures leaves Nigeria ranking low among other African countries and globally. But how have we excluded ourselves in this conversation of billions of dollars available to this sector? We took a tour of some potential sites that could promote tourism around the country and their challenges. One of the foremost sites is the Yankari Resort in Bauchi State, a state nicknamed the Pearl of Tourism, owing to the numerous tourist attractions. Aside Yankari, there are more than 10 tourist sites in the state, some of them developed, others are not.
If the state is really serious about tourism development, they should put some actions on ground. The first thing is, I think they should bring out a tourism master plan.
Although Bauchi State is relatively safe, but like many parts of the northeast region, insecurity has ravaged the tourism sector. From Bauchi State, we'll move to the north-central region of the country. Kwara this time, and what do we have? There seems to be a lot to be done by government at all levels to ensure commercial viability of tourism centers in the state. This is the Esia Museum in Irepodu local government area, established in 1945. Not much can be seen or said in terms of commercial viability. The Kajala waterfalls in the Felodu local government area, also said to be the longest in West Africa, is as deserted as it could possibly appear. But the government says it is upbeat on getting these sites to world map. Still in the north-central region is Plateau State, known as the home of peace and tourism. There are numerous tourist attractions spread across the local government areas with attractive hills, mountainous areas, as well as recreational centers. There is the National Museum, Jos, a tripartite tourist center. Other tourist attractions scattered across the state include the Sphere Hills, Wasi Rocks, as well as the Pandam Game Reserves and the Kurang Volcanic Mountain. Let's take you down to the south-south region of the country. Cross River State hosts an annual carnival which draws tourists and have brought in some economic fortune to the state. Some tourists who visited the Obudu Ranch Resort, another attraction to the state, holiday home. Abeokuta in Ogun State perhaps has been made popular as a tourist site by the distribution of rocks in the ancient city and the famous Olumo Rock. Olumorok, as his tourism site, is a fusion of the old and the modern, and a historic site, pride of the Egbas. During its downtime, it records about 1,500 visitors and doubles that at peak periods. Everywhere in Lagos appears all built up with a few historic sites that support this sector. The National Theatre is one of the historic destinations in Lagos. It is an architectural masterpiece that was built some 45 years ago, but in recent years, the edifice has become a shadow of itself, prompting the recent intervention by the federal government and the Lagos state government, partnering with the Central Bank of Nigeria for restoration. The COVID-19 pandemic provided a reset button for the globe. The United Nations World Tourism Organization says it represents an opportunity to rethink the future of tourism sector. Will Nigeria join the League of International Destinations for Tourism? The figures will tell when computed during another celebration next year. Olu Phillips, Channels Television News.
Well, according to the Nigeria Tourism Development Corporation, Nigeria's tourist markets hold a $4 billion domestic market and a $3 billion diaspora market yet to be maximally explored for growth. Let's have this conversation with the president, Lakampine Tropicana Beach, Wanle Akimboboye. Thank you very much, Mr. Akimboboye, for joining us on the program. Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Akimboboye. All right, I think Mr. Akimboboye is back to us. Good morning, Mr. Akimboboye. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you. How are you, Chima? How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. Well, obviously, Nigeria is not lagging when we talk about tourist attraction centers. But just like, I don't know if you listened to the report we just played, what it highlighted, the challenge is basically the political will to develop this sector. Tell us, what are the key issues here?
Well, I think our biggest problem, Chima, is that we are focusing a lot on attractions. Now, attractions don't translate into any form of economic activity. Has very little trickle-down effect, very little value. If people are attracted to a particular location and they visit this particular location and they are looking for a place to sleep, what to eat, entertainment, and what they can enjoy around the attraction, how they can take the water from the hot spring and transform it into maybe a spa where they can sit in the spa and overlook the hills and enjoy that particular attraction. Any amount of money they bring to that attraction, they take back. If they have $5,000, $10,000 in their pocket, or maybe $500,000 naira in their pocket, they take it all back because there's really nothing to do there. They spend like 1 hour and they get in their cars and they go back. Until you transform an attraction into a destination, you don't make any form of revenue. We spend too much energy, too much time talking about attractions. We're not talking about transformation of those attractions into destinations where people can come and enjoy and benefit from that attraction, the environment. So until someone can come to a transform attraction that has been transformed into a destination, and they have like $5,000 in their pocket, and they have to borrow additional $5,000 through their credit cards to spend at that attraction, it has no value to anybody. There are attractions all over the world. There's so many attractions. What is needed to be done is transformation of those attractions into destination. A well, robust, well built up destination.
Okay.
You can take it one at a time.
Okay, yeah, talking about Mr. Kimaboye, if you can hear me, you're talking about transforming their attractions into a destination. And of course, you talked about basically what you're saying is, of course, Nigeria is actually losing so much by not transforming their tourism attractions to destination. They are losing so much money. I mean, currently the country is undergoing a lot of challenges in terms of foreign exchange, and obviously this is a sector that can actually, earn Nigeria foreign exchange. Now, you are in this sector as a private sector player. For you, what sort of policies can be channeled into this sector to actually transform it from attraction to destination?
That's a good question, Chima. For me, I believe very strongly that we have a major opportunity here, a humongous opportunity. I think in 2019, the personal travel allowances in 9 months, January to September, the 9.01 billion US dollars was spent. Now the ITA indicated that $1 billion US dollars was spent also from January to December for tickets. This is a time where a lot of people can't travel anyhow. You just do essential travels now. This is the best time to develop our domestic tourism, to invest in it. So, I mean, if you're looking at the personal travel allowance that we're talking about here, that basically is like maybe I'll say like 20%, because most travel is done through the parallel market. So if you sit back and you think about it, you can see the tremendous amount of resources spent in this 677,000 square kilometers of area called Nigeria, and over 250 million people. There's tremendous opportunity for us to transform this challenge into an advantage. The distraction of Dubai, distraction of the United States of America, Britain, Europe, Asia, I think would now be minimized. And this will be the time that domestic tourism can be developed. If we're able to develop domestic tourism where local attractions are transformed into destinations, money is spent, not rhetorics, not talking about what we have, not talking about the rocks, not talking about just the Bauchi. Let's look at Bauchi. What do we need to do there? What are the things that have to be done there to make it conducive? What are the security, what the apparatus do we need to put in place? Now, these are all the things we need to do very quickly so that within the next 2 to 3 years, we can have a robust domestic tourism. 62% of most countries' tourism is weaved around domestic tourism. But Nigeria's domestic tourism have not really been able to develop because of the distractions of going to different parts of the world. And of course, business travel, government travel, because of ESTA codes, is more attractive to a Nigerian than coming to La Campagne, for example, than going to Budukatu Ranch, for example, than going to Calabar, for example. But if we can take this opportunity and maybe target 50% of these huge resources and make sure that people have what they're looking for, what is available in Dubai can be replicated very easily, weaved around our culture, weaved around who we are, so that when people do travel, they get to see us, they get to have a clear understanding of our culture. When you go to a country, you've gone there to see the culture of the people, not a cheap imitation of where you're coming from. You can do better than Britain. You can't do better than the United States of America showing their culture. But you can show your culture, but you must take that culture and polish it. You must take your attractions and transform them into superb destinations. And once that is done, right now, from October, Nigerians will be thinking of where to go. We must provide that for them. And it's not just going to be, you shouldn't be weaved around just a few resorts. We need to build as many as possible and as quickly as possible. I feel that if we're able to do that now quickly, and then leverage of the fact that we have the largest population of Nigerians in diaspora, or Africans in diaspora, Nigerians. About $28 billion US was sent through, that was sent through the system last year, 2 years ago. And even last year to Nigeria. So we need to reach out to them. We need to create, we have a program called the DN Nigerian Diaspora Economic Recovery Program, where there's a concerted plan, concerted effort to bring Nigerians in diaspora to come and help bring their dollars, bring their pounds, bring their euro to spend instead of going to Asia now.
All right, Mr. Kimboboye. Mr. Kimboboye, it will really be interesting to, Mr. Kimboboye, if you can hear me very well, it will really be interesting to know about this Nigeria Diaspora Recovery plan. We'll take a short break, and then when we come back, we'll come to you briefly to talk more on this initiative. All right, still talking about harnessing Nigeria's tourism potentials, and we'll still have the President La Campagne Tropicana Beach, Wanle Kimboboye. Thank you very much, Mr. Kimboboye, for sticking on. Yes, before we went on that short break, you were talking about Nigeria Diaspora Recovery Program. So how does this, how will this help in, in the development of the tourism sector in Nigeria?
Well, DNARG, Diaspora Nigeria Economic Recovery Program, is basically to target all Nigerians in diaspora. Now, to say that do not just travel anywhere, come now to Nigeria, we need your dollars. We need tremendous amount of supply of dollars in our system to balance and strengthen our naira. It must be a concerted plan weaved around different festivals and broken down into segments. For example, let's take the Olojo Festival. All Nigerians in diaspora, especially indigenous of Ilefe, should have been invited specifically with a specific package of DNARG, Diaspora Nigeria Recovery Program, that will put together a full package of their transportation, flights, accommodation, feeding, on top of it all, proper security, because they are very concerned and worried about security. When we go to Judioba Festival, we must reach out to Ijebus in diaspora. When we come to Ondo State, during the Mari Festival, we're going to reach out to all Nigerians in diaspora. But we're going to, first of all, talk to all Ondo State indigenes in Europe, in the United States of America. That here is a $2,000 package that incorporates basically your travel, your accommodation, your feeding. We're putting together a bunch of highly tested tour operators that can coordinate that, working with government, working with the Amatekun group, making sure there is proper security from the minute they arrive at the airport till they go back. And we have it also all insured. And when they do go back, they are not coming to just, we're not calling them to on an emotional basis. It's a value proposition to say that, please don't just say you want to dash Nigeria $25 billion. Come and enjoy that $25 billion in Nigeria. Come and spend it to enjoy yourself. When you come, you visit Olumọ Rock, you visit La Campagne Tropicana Beach Resort, you enjoy yourself in Ile-Ife with different festivals taking place. We have all of that in a package for them. They will come, they will spend the money, they will enjoy themselves. We'll then give them a token appreciation, maybe signal, the badge that they will take with them, that I help Nigeria to, recover from this economic situation we're faced presently. So I think there should be a concerted plan and effort to tell them, listen, it's difficult to fly to different parts of the world now, but you can come to your country. We are blessed. We've been very lucky with COVID-19. So we must take advantage of our advantage. And that's the only time you have an absolute advantage. And in some cases, absolute monopoly.
Irrespective of the security issues?
They are, since 9/11, one of the most protected buildings in the world, and the Pentagon, since they were attacked, the entire WTO understand now that you can't say you want to resolve security issues before you start tourism. Security has been part of life way from the days of Adam and Eve, if you're a Christian. And it has never gotten better. So you have to say maybe in 2-3 times, you begin to start developing tourism after you resolve the issues of security. You don't ever resolve it. You create tourism zones and you get them fortified. I mean, come on, we're 923, 677,000 square kilometers of area. We're 250 million people. We live in this country. If you look at the stats, Ondo, for example, from Lagos to the east sometimes, you get over 5 to 10 million cars that travel on a daily basis. And then when you get 2, 3, 4, 5 attacks, we say Nigeria is not secure. We have people sitting on the beach at the resort till 2, 3, 4 a.m. in the morning. You can't do that in some parts of South Africa. So I think we need to get away from this whole, yes, we must be mindful of security. We must, in Egypt, in the middle of war, tourism was quite key to their economy. So what they did is to focus on security for tourism sites, tourism areas.
All right. All right, Mr. Kimboboye.
They're going to visit sections.
Right, Mr. Kimboboye. Well, I wish we had more time to dwell on this, but I guess it's a continuous conversation, I'm sure. And of course, if the network will permit some other time, we'll have an elaborate conversation on this. Thank you very much for sharing your time with us today.
Thank you, Jima.
Okay. All right, let's look at Afex Commodities market now. The number of contracts traded at the exchange in the week that ended September the 27th increased to 41,828 from 6,600. The value traded was also up. But to give us more insight about the trading activities in the week under review and more is the portfolio manager at Afex, Michael Martin. Hey, Michael. Good morning.
Hi, Chimeze. Good morning. It's lovely to be here again, and it looks like it's just me and you this morning.
Oh, it's just you and I. Laddie abandoned me. Anyway, so how would you
Very
describe
much.
trading activities in the week that ended September 27th?
Thank you very much, Chimeze. So just to give you an overview of what happened in the commodities market in the week under consideration, the total value of transactions traded on the exchange went up by a factor of 4, from around 187 million naira to close the trading week at 834 million naira. The total number of contracts traded on the exchange also went up by a factor of 6, from 6,600 contracts to close the trading week at 41,828 contracts. We, however, saw a slight decline in the number of deals traded on the exchange, which fell by 6%, from 35 deals to close the trading week at 33 deals. The ACI and the AEI, which is the Afex Commodities Index, and also the Afex Export Index remained unchanged at 427.34 and 168.08 respectively. With regards to volume changes in the exchange, we generally saw an increase in the volume of contracts traded on the exchange in this week, with maize going up from 659 contracts to trade 35,070 contracts this week. And then we also saw an increase in the number of contracts traded for paddy rice going up from 3,044 contracts to close the trading week at 4,779 contracts. There was generally little to no other volume traded for the other commodities on the exchange. With regards to price changes on the exchange, soybean went up by 2.38%, gaining 900 naira in the contract value to close the trading week at 38,683 naira per contract. Paddy rice also went up slightly by 1.72%, gaining 370 naira in the contract value to close the trading week at 21,863 naira per contract. We, however, saw a massive decline in the price of ginger, which fell by 19.35%, losing about 24,648 naira in the contract. 648 naira to close the trading week at 102,714 naira and the contract value. So that's by and large all of what happened in the commodities market on the exchange this week. And as we always say, if you want to know more about commodities, you can always go to our website, which is www.afexnigeria.com. And if you want to get started really trading spot contract and fixed income contracts on the exchange, you can download our app, which is available on iOS and also on Android.
Okay, Michael. Now, we noticed there hasn't been a movement in the export market in the past few weeks, but we do see a bit of movement with ginger. Can you explain what is currently going on in the ginger market?
Thank you very much, Chimezia, for that question. And I think that's a very important question, considering where we are in the commodities market today. So it is the case that there is a lot of speculation currently going on in the ginger market. But I must also say that we don't expect the harvest volumes for ginger to come into the market until the last few weeks of the month of November. So it is the case that some of the very few traders who are still currently playing in the market, who still hold inventory, are trying to underprice that inventory significantly so that they can essentially sell off, right, in anticipation of the new commodity season. And this same dynamics does tend to play out across all the different commodities that are traded on the exchange. But it is the case that due to the sustained rainfall that we have seen this year, that may not necessarily be the case with commodity prices falling. But we would have to look over our shoulder for the next 2 or 3 weeks to definitively figure out whether or not that is actually going to happen with commodity prices this season.
Now, on the back of your crop production survey, can you share any insights into what could potentially happen at the start of the new commodities market season?
Thank you very much, Chimezi. And even before I answer that question, I think it's far more important to just give an overview of what has happened in the commodities market in this last season that we just passed. So for some of the commodities that we have traded, that were traded on the exchange, particularly for maize went up by more than 60-70%. Soybean went up at some point in time more than 100%. And we do essentially see the same price action across board for all the other grains, which is rice and sorghum, and then also for the export commodities that we have on the exchange, which is cocoa, sesame, ginger, and then also for cashew. And I think that these price changes and price appreciations have implications both from an investment standpoint and then also from a sustainability standpoint. And when I say sustainability, I mean with regards to the activities of smallholder farmers, right? So to truly answer your question, we are not completely done with the crop production survey yet, but there are a few insights that we can glean from the data that we currently have. And that is to say that we can expect a better harvest this season in comparison to last season. And like I said, right, higher prices tend to have implications on farmer activities. So what we have seen happen during this year's cultivation, we have seen a lot of farmers go to the market to cultivate in order to take advantage, right, of the higher prices that we have seen in the commodities market. It is the case, right, that this single factor is the highest motivation factor, even above all the other fundamentals that we have had, that we do have that influence cultivation, which essentially tends to be, the availability of inputs, land use, and then maybe even also rainfall, which tends to affect cultivation in any given commodity season. So that's it on one part. The final version of the report would be out in the month of October. But to also answer the other question, which is basically to say, what do higher commodity prices, what are its implications from an investment standpoint? So I mentioned that maize went up by more than 60-70%. Soybean at some point in time in the course of the commodity season also went up by more than 100%. I mean, Chimeze, if I haven't done anything for you this year at all, I have come here every single month, every single week to come and educate you on your need, right, to invest in the commodities market, but I haven't seen any sort of significant action in that regard. It is the case that if you had invested in the commodities market at some point, at this same point in time, let's say last year, you would have made more than 60-70% of your money. Right. I mean, this year alone, we've even reduced the value of the spot contracts from 100 kg to 1 kg to essentially make it cheaper for people to invest. And we are also, making available a wide array of investment products for people to invest in. So at this point in time, right, you honestly don't have any excuse, for not investing in the commodities market. I know Ladi mentioned at some point in time in April,
investing in ginger. Ladi talked about investing in ginger.
Yeah, and I know that is not true, but I'm guessing it's because he's taking a la-di-da approach to investing. But I know that you, Chimeze, you're a serious person. So tell me in the right
Really?
I'm putting you on the spot. In anticipation of the new commodity
No, Michael. You tell me. You would have to advise me what commodity I would probably invest in at a time like this.
Look, I can tell you for free, right? If it's liquidity that you're looking for on the exchange, and this is a message not just to Chimeze, right? It's also to every other investor who is looking at me right now, who is trying to take advantage or who is trying to find investments, alternative investment asset classes that can give you a return that is higher than the inflation rate, which is currently around 17%. It is to say that on the exchange, we currently have contracts that are much cheaper, and it is also the case that some of the most liquid commodities that we have, spot contracts that we have on the exchange, are maize and soybean. So if I were to go out of my own, purview and out of my comfort zone and address and maybe advise you on what to invest in, I would say, Chimeze, please and please, before the end of the month of October, going to the month of November, please find some maize and soybean spot contracts to buy. You will thank me for it in about 9 months' time.
Okay, I would probably consider your advice, Michael. But then you're saying I should rather go for agri-commodities rather than going for equities or looking at the fixed income market.
Yes, absolutely. So think about it like this, Chimeze, right? When you think about the investment landscape right now and what is currently going on, right? If you look at the stock market, it hasn't really done significantly well this year. Right. I mean, at some point in time, it was even down year to date at the middle of the year. If you look at the fixed income market, which is basically the treasury bill rate, which is about the most liquid market that we have right now, I mean, the return for the 365-day investment product is less than 7.5%, meaning that if you put your money in any of these investment asset classes, you're not expected to generate any sort of significant return that is higher than the rate of inflation. Right. Even if you don't want to invest in commodities from a pure alpha acquisition point of view, which is basically to say pack all your money and put it in commodities, even from a portfolio diversification standpoint, it's a no-brainer at this point for you to not be, it's a no-brainer if you're not invested in the commodities market. It just doesn't make any sense because there are only so many other alternative asset classes that you can invest in that have both a sustainable standpoint, knowing fully well, right, that every single naira that you put into the commodities market has an implication on the smallholder farmer who tend to be the poorest out of us in the country. And then also that you can make a significant amount of money in terms of return on investment, right? So if you are listening to me right now and you haven't downloaded the COMEX app, Go to your phone, if you're using an iOS or an Android, download the app. Somebody's going to get in touch with you and teach you and take you step by step on how to start investing in commodities. You will thank me for this in 9 months' time. I can almost guarantee you that.
All right, Michael, I'll take your advice for it. Thank you. We do appreciate your time.
You're welcome, Chimeze.
All right, Anita, Michael says I should look at the agri-commodities and not the equities or the fixed income market. What do you say?
Yes, good morning, Chimi. Well, you know, Michael is very passionate about his own market, and he can speak very well about his market, but I can only tell you more about the markets I'm very much aware of. Of course, every market has its own ups and downs and has its own, you know, what to offer the right investors, you know, putting their money where their mouth belongs to. So, but let me just take you, let's take a trip down to the fixed income market. Of course, this is how it looked like yesterday. Was a return to bullish performance for the Treasury bills market, and that's because you know there was the investors' interest there was rather increased. Of course, we'll be having a bond auction by the Debt Management Office today. So, of course, the only paper that was traded yesterday was the 8th of September 2022, which had 4 deals, and that's valued at 10.8 billion naira. But when we move over to the bonds market there, you can see the number, but it was a bearish performance there. Of course, there was lots of sell-off on the March 27th, the February 2028, and the March 2050 bonds paper. So that's how it turned out yesterday for the bonds market. Elsewhere at the open market operations, where, of course, we will be expecting that the CBN will be conducting their weekly market, what you call the mop-up of the market at the Treasury bills. That, of course, is coming tomorrow. So, but we didn't have much activity there, just 4 deals, and that's on the 16th of August, 2021, and 22nd of February, 2022. So that's what, you know, those 3 markets panned out yesterday. And then, of course, for the CBN special bills, the 29th of November, 2021, what we had there was just 6 deals there. So now to give us more insight into what to expect in today's trading at the fixed income market, let's speak with Bankole Odusonya, who's the head of fixed income at UBA. Thank you for joining us, Bankole.
Good morning, Letty.
Okay, so now the fixed income market is having kind of like a mixed sentiments there. So can you tell us what's happening at the market right now?
Hello. It's been lower volumes of activity, especially in the month of September. What we've seen and noticed is that it was a liquidity-induced market, so it wasn't really very liquid in September, and we're seeing drop of volumes of trade. However, we expect federal allocations to come in today, and we're beginning to see interest in Nigerian Treasury bills and OMO bills in particular. There is an auction today also, which will be closing at about 11 a.m. this morning. We expect bids to be very aggressive given the expected liquidity, even as we end the month of September.
Okay, Bankole, are you there?
I'm there. Talk to me.
Okay. Now, last week, of course, we had the Euro bond issue by the federal government, of course, which was oversubscribed. So how do you see investors warming up to the bond auction that will be carried out today?
Okay, so what's going to happen, especially with the GMO issuance you saw on the foreign exchange side, is that even the last bond auction on the local currency end was also oversubscribed. There's still a lot of funds out there willing to invest in Nigeria. There was a lot of confidence. And we saw Nigeria's stock rates, especially on the 30-year bond, compared to that of Egypt, which is slightly lower. Meaning that Nigeria was able to raise funds lower than Egypt in the global market. But we expect today's federal allocations, liquidity to help support the market. This inflows into the system would help banks and other customers the financial system generally will get some more liquidity and some confidence, and then we expect a bullish trend in the market next week. That's post-auction. It's a short week this week. Well, at today's auction, there'll be settlement tomorrow, but there's a public holiday on Friday. So going into Monday, we expect a bullish time going into the month of October as a result of how this month is ending, with an end to the auction and liquidity coming in from further allocation.
Okay, so thank you for bringing us up to speed with what to expect at the fixed income market, Bankole. And surely we will be looking out for that. So, Chimi, time wouldn't allow. It would have given you more information about the unlisted securities market as well as the equities markets.
Anyway, thank you. For now, we'll take a quick break. And when we come back, of course, we look at the crypto market. Okay, let's look at the crypto market now. And we have Laddie there. Well, Laddie, I'm sure you heard what Michael said.
Yeah, Michael. Well,
but you prefer your crypto.
Yeah, I prefer the volatility here, the big upswings. But I don't like the downswings, though, but the upswings are really good here. But it's a green market we're having today. We have Bitcoin, Ethereum, and most of the altcoins there, all in the green. And a couple of, it's quite mixed, too, though, because it gets some stable coins there in the red. This morning, market cap still below the $2 trillion mark. Is 1.87 trillion this morning, down 0.83%. 24-hour volume at $93.43 billion in the total crypto market. You see Bitcoin dominance there inching up 42.60%. Price of Bitcoin had a nice bounce, about $40,000. It's now trading about $42,000 now. 24-hour volume for Bitcoin, $29.75 billion. So it's a huge struggle right now between the bull and the bears right now, because the bears are looking to break that 40K support. Well, price of Ethereum, $2,900, is down to about 23 basis points. 24-hour volume traded in Ethereum, $17.07 billion. Ethereum has lost that $3,000 mark, but it could bounce back up above that. To top also market cap, we have BNB there, Binance coin there, $344, up 2.10%. Cardano is down. Cardano has had an amazing run this season, but it's now having that pullback, people taking profit. Solana, $138, is up 2.23%. Solana, too, has had an incredible run, as Cardano has. And XRP still below the $1 mark. XRP is not looking so bullish around this time. We have top 5 gainers. DYDX, this one is a newcomer on the coin market cap there. It's $25, up 31.16%. eCash is less than a cent, up 16%. And I see OKB. OKB was also in the top gainers yesterday. This is the exchange token for the exchange, and it's back in profit region again at $16. It was trading at about $14 yesterday. It's up 15% this morning. And we have Perp there, $16, up 12.01%. And Axie Infinity got as high as over $100, but we're seeing Axie Infinity having a pullback there, but it's trading at $71. Not looking bad for Axie. Let's bring in Gilbert Jopata now, digital market analyst. Good morning, Gilbert. Great to have you.
Yes, good morning.
Yeah, so the China FUD, continues spreading fear, uncertainty, and doubt in the market. But China has banned Bitcoin many times, but some traders are concerned that this time is different. What do you think?
The announcement as this no longer surprises the market anymore, because they have made announcement as this so many times, but you can't outright ban an asset that is designed to function without a third party. So operations will still begin. It's just that it's going to affect the entry level in China. It's going to affect China as an industry than the overall market in general, because they are going to increase the cost of entry into the market, because exchanges may have to go on the ground. So traders may have to use the OTC over public traded exchanges.
trade basically in China at this point. But I see Alibaba, they've suspended sale of the of some cryptocurrency mining hardware on its platform. How's this going to affect the miners?
Okay, there was a survey from Cambridge University that says China accounts for about 47% of mining activity, while the U.S. has about 16.8%. So activities as these always bring concern. Yes, miners, we always get concerned about the miners. But before this announcement has been made, there have been several decisions of major mining companies in China to leave China to other countries. So after this announcement has been made, we are going to see heavy migration of miners away from China. So this affects China. The U.S. legislators who have been making opinions and tweets, which means they are watching China. A couple of them have said this is an opportunity for the U.S. So we are rather going to see other countries, probably the U.S. or other countries, take advantage of China's decision. And heavy migration will be on the way. Other countries may have to stand up to it. Other countries may have to make favorable laws, like we are seeing other countries making, that is going to bring in heavy industry players into the industry and will rather favor their economy.
Okay. All right, Gilbert, thank you so much for that. Enjoy the rest of your day.
All right, thank you.
Our top 5 losers there. We have XDC leading that count, is down 12%, and Decred at $98 is down 8%. Phantom $1.24, down 6%. So Chimi, it's a mix right now we're having in the market. A couple of downers, but Bitcoin is in the green.
I see. And we're gradually getting to the end of September.
Oh, yes.
Yes, into a new week. Even though crypto market is a market that does not sleep, we have public holiday here. So if we are to look at this market, what is your coin pick there?
Well, the thing is, September has been, a difficult month for crypto, and always is, though. So a couple of altcoins have performed. I'm still looking at ZRX, Afen blockchain. Those ones have not really performed well, but I'm watching them.
We'll see how that flies.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it on the program. Thank you for watching. I'm Chimeze Obi Iwago. And don't forget to join us later in the afternoon for Business Incorporated. That's at 1:30 this afternoon. I'm Chimeze Obi Iwago.
And I'm Ladi Williams.